In the previous film, Bailey reunited with his longtime owner Ethan after being reincarnated as a new dog. Now a Saint Bernard, Australian Shepherd. Bailey lives happily with Ethan. Ethan's wife Hannah, Gloria, the widow of Hannah's son Henry, and her 2-year-old daughter CJ on their farm in Michigan. Gloria is an inattentive mother, hates dogs, has a strained relationship with her parents-in-law and an ambition to be a singer. Gloria's suspicious nature leads her to move out with CJ. Shortly after, Ethan discovers a tumor in Bailey's stomach. Before Bailey is euthanized, Ethan lovingly holds him and asks him to take care of CJ once he is reincarnated again. Bailey is then shown running through a grassy field towards CJ. 9 years later, Bailey, reincarnated as a female beagle named Molly, sees a now 11-year-old CJ with her best friend Trent and his parents, who are adopting the former's favorite brother Rocky. Remembering the promise she made to Ethan in her previous life, Molly runs outside to CJ. CJ secretly adopts Molly. Gloria reluctantly allows CJ to keep Molly to compensate for her neglectful parenting. CJ and Molly grow increasingly close over the years. Along with Trent and Rocky, now a teenager, CJ tells Trent she wants to drop out of high school and move to New York City with her deceased father Henry's insurance settlement to become a musician. CJ begins to date Shane, who Molly distrusts and tries to protect her from, attending a party which gets busted by police for underage drinking. CJ is sentenced to community service where Molly learns how to detect cancer. Days after she had broken up with him, Shane assaults CJ, prompting Molly to bite him. While drunk, Gloria responds nonchalantly to CJ's distress and also reveals she spent all of Henry's settlement money meant for CJ, prompting CJ to leave town in the car with Molly. On the way out, they are stalked and tail-ended by Shane, which causes her car to flip, killing Molly. Shane flees the scene in a panic to avoid his arrest. Molly is then shown running through the same grassy field that Bailey had run through when he died. Molly is reincarnated as a male English Mastiff named Big Dog, who lives with a convenience store owner in Pennsylvania. One day, CJ visits the shop on her way to New York City and is lovingly greeted by Big Dog. He mistakenly believes that CJ recognizes him and is going to take him with her, but is heartbroken when CJ leaves the store without him. Big Dog is reincarnated as a male Yorkshire Terrier named Max, who is at an adoption event in New York and is being adopted by CJ. While CJ is working as a dog walker and returning a client's dog, Max detects Trent's familiar scent down the hall and pulls her toward his door. CJ and Trent greet and reconnect with each other. Max is eager to reunite CJ and Trent, despite each of them being in live-in relationships of their own. Max intentionally misbehaves around CJ's boyfriend, after which they break up and CJ moves out with Max. They stay with various friends of CJ's before Max spots Trent and his girlfriend on the street, and Trent offers his guest room to CJ upon learning that she's without a permanent residence. Remembering how to diagnose cancer during his life as Molly, Max signals to CJ that he detects it on Trent and CJ urges Trent to see a doctor. The doctor confirms, and Trent begins chemo. His girlfriend shallowly leaves him, so CJ becomes his primary caretaker. Once Trent is cancer-free, he urges CJ to accept a meeting with Gloria, who was at the time 9 months and 13 days sober. Gloria tearfully apologizes to CJ for her abusive nature, and gives CJ some of the things sent from Ethan and Hannah. letters from Henry that he had written while she was pregnant with CJ. They inspire CJ to write more songs and lead to her finally perform. Overcoming her long-standing stage fright and beginning her musical career, Trent encourages CJ to go on a road trip with him and Max to her grandparents' farm, where she reunites with Ethan and Hannah for the first time since she was a toddler. Ethan recognizes Max as Bailey and tells CJ of the dog's reincarnations, proving it by having Max perform a trick with Ethan that only Bailey would know. CJ then realizes that Bailey, Molly, Big Dog, and Max were all the same dog and runs to tell Trent. CJ and Trent then confess their love for one another, kiss, and praise Max, Bailey for reuniting and protecting them. CJ and Trent marry. And shortly after CJ releases her first music album, they have a son named Saint. Gloria reconciles with her daughter and in-laws, reuniting the entire family. Ethan dies of natural causes, surrounded by Max and the rest of his family. Max later ages and dies as well, while being comforted by CJ. The final scene shows Bailey running through the grassy field, morphing backwards through his previous incarnations, before crossing the Rainbow Bridge and reuniting with Ethan in heaven.